Hello, I wanted to show how taking a picture of a work in progress and bringing it into Photoshop can be a helpful editing tool and a helpful way of letting you explore options digitally where it's safe to do that. Just to overview my process, this is my digital mock, which in this case does include some 3D modeling components, so I could get that perspective correct. But this is my mock and it's gridded, and I transfer that to my canvas. And I was really wondering about this element, this dinosaur, and this gem, to the point where I didn't want to commit to paint. So I took a picture with my phone, which has a good camera on it, pretty decent megapixel. And I took a couple of them, and I try to get the picture to be as square to the painting as possible. And I've taken a couple pictures and I bring them all into Photoshop, and I pick the one that I've done the best at. And then I crop this. The goal is to get the picture to be fairly square and for it just to show your art again and not have any background. So a quick cropping can begin that process, but then I will Control T transform, and I will additionally remove any skew. This is a painted border on the actual picture itself, so I'm not cropping that. This looks a little more square up here. Let's just see. Looks pretty good with the grid lines. It doesn't have to be perfect because this is just for thought exploration. Might crop this again. So don't spend too long on that part of this process. Now I make a new layer and it's time to explore changes, and that just becomes sketching at that point. So whatever other ideas I want to pursue. So for example, I've got this skeleton in the original design, and I want to know if it still is going to hold up, and I can bring that back and try to place it again, and I can verify its location and its size. Does it still work as it originally did? I look at it and go, okay, I think that size is good, and that maybe is a little smaller than it was. I might need to make some minor adjustments to its positioning, but I think that could work. I want a little space in between the beak there and the wood. I don't want those kissing, as we say, where we can't tell which is in front of which. It has to be plainly one or the other. So if I maneuver that around, I could judge. So this demonstrates how you can react to subtle differences in the painted work versus the original design sketch. I can bring over all these elements and see how they relate. So this is part of my process. It doesn't take long to take the photo, bring it into Photoshop, explore some things, and react to them. Your camera might not have great color correction. For example, the painting is much warmer in tone than this, so I have to be careful about what things I try to explore with this process, because color can be a little tricky. This color is different than the original sketch, and this is different from the actual painting. So subtle color explorations are not, they might not be so informative, but the kinds of things I just demonstrated, like whole objects and aspects of this, this is a great way of trying those out in a simple, non-destructive way. All right, thanks for listening.